Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Club Pro Chatter Season 6, Episode 5. I am Greg Snow along with Scott McDonald. Scott, did you forget to shave this morning? You look a little scruffy down there.
We were up north at the cabin, and I'm just letting it grow. Maybe that'll help my golf game, Greg.
Yeah, you're not playing great right now. And we're open books here on the old Club Pro Chatter podcast. So you're right. Maybe you need to change. Do you think maybe you need to go back to the slick Summerby haircut?
Might not hurt.
It could be. Well, Scotty, since we last chatted, I think we need to start off the show with congratulating you. I know Kaylee's not on yet, but British Open picks. Scotty had McIlroy, Rahm, Scheffler, and Cameron Young all did very well. Kind of blew away me and Kaylee and Carla, who also helped with some of those disastrous picks that they had. They're not on to defend themselves. I shouldn't do that. But anyway, Scotty, congratulations. You won 2 majors. Kaylee and I each won 1. Most people would call that a good career, but for us, it just doesn't feel good to give that up to you. I just want to say congratulations. You got any
Thank you. You know, Greg, I just would also like to point out that's 2 years in a row that I've won the major championship picks. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank Google, and I'd like to thank Vegas for the odds helping me with the picks. And maybe Phil Mickelson.
We're going to talk about that later in the show. I got some questions for you. I got some stuff, but we'll get to that. But first off, we have a special guest. Now, Scotty, this worked out just perfectly. Again, we said before, we said, hey, we're going to have on the Women's State Open winner. We had no idea who it was. We said this before. We talked about this. Kaylee says, yep, we're going to get her on, whoever it is. We'll go from there. And as many know, we had Caleb on our last show, Kathryn VanArragon. And we'd like to introduce the Women's State Open champion, Kathryn. Pop on here for us.
Hi.
Kathryn, good to finally meet you. Congratulations on your big win out at the State Open.
Thank you.
Hey, start off telling us a little bit about yourself. We got Caleb's version of himself. So now, and Scott asked a really cool question that he's probably going to ask you again.
All right.
So be ready for that. But just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to do with golf, where you're going to school, all those good things.
Yeah, so I just graduated from Blaine High School just this past June. And I am going to be moving into St. Thomas in about 3 weeks here to play golf there. So that's exciting.
The Tommies. So, Kathryn, how did you settle on St. Thomas? Obviously, recently, Division I program. What helped you make that decision to go to St. Thomas?
Yeah. So when I kind of first started my recruiting process, it was the summer after sophomore year, and it was that fall that they turned Division I. So I started looking at, a really big kind of pool of schools and kind of tried to figure out through that summer like what I wanted, and I decided that I wanted to stay close to home. And so ultimately that limited my choices, but that was probably for the best at the end. And so I took visits to a few different places in the Midwest, and what really drew me to St. Thomas was the coaches. Like Coach Katie Hahnemann is, I think she's been on the show before. She's amazing. She has a lot of great experience. She's always supportive. She's just a great coach. And I love the team. Campus is great. So I just think all in all, it would be a good place for me with or without golf. But with the golf part, it's definitely perfect.
Kathryn, what's the home course for St. Thomas?
It is Stone Ridge.
Stone Ridge.
That's something, Scotty.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
You knew that?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Fire away,
press release this summer.
Yes.
No, so Kathryn, have you played? Obviously, congrats on the win. Congrats on just an amazing summer. I was trying to look up all the results of all the major events. You've played a lot. You've traveled a lot. I don't know how your parents do it. They're here. They're at the 3M Open. You're down in Arkansas. You're at Stone Ridge. You're at the U.S. Junior Am. Caleb's up in Canada. I mean, is anybody ever home at your house?
It's been a couple weeks since I saw my brother and my dad. So I think they're coming home like later today. So that'll be nice. But no, it's been pretty crazy because, you know, I went to Colorado. I think that was like mid-July. And then you know, Caleb played the state am right after that when I was in Colorado. And then he got into the 3M and I was able to watch that. But then we left right after that for Arkansas. Then Caleb left for Canada. And then I came back and now he's, you know, leaving for school in about a week. But it's been busy, but it's been fun.
Wow. Kathryn, all right, we're going to backtrack now for a little bit. Then we'll move forward through into talking about the state open round. But
yeah,
tell us where golf started for you. How did it start? Who was instrumental in getting you to kind of, you know, to where you're at today, and just talk us through that.
Yeah. Well, my brother might have told you this, but my parents didn't really golf.
He said that. He told us that.
Yeah. My dad was a runner. My mom was a swimmer. But Caleb started playing golf young at like age 3. He was always very coordinated. So they got him started on golf pretty early and he loved it. And then he's 4 years older than me. So I started playing when he was 7 and I was 3. And from there, I mean, it was really just an enjoyment first, like just more for fun than anything else. But it really did grow into something that I think both of us realized that we could, you know, do well in. So I think that was how I started. But then, you know, seeing with my dad and my mom not really knowing that much about golf, we went to Craig Warrion for lessons as kids. I was probably 7 or 8 when I kind of started going to him, and he really helped me with my swing as it was developing. And then from there, we went to Luc Bemois, and he's been our coach for probably 10 years.
Beautiful. Well, Luke's been my coach for 30 years, and I feel like I haven't gotten as good as you guys, so maybe I should get a refund, although all those lessons have been free. So talk a little bit, obviously, about, I don't think Greg's ever had a lesson, by the way.
I've never had a lesson.
Yeah, maybe you should go to Luke.
Never had one lesson. Self-taught man.
Okay, so obviously golf, you and Caleb both play golf. What other sports, if any, have you done throughout your high school career? Have you dabbled in any other sports?
I've not dabbled in anything in high school, but in you know, elementary school, I swam for a few years. You know, I was on a swim team, and I was in like elementary school, middle school age. I played basketball in like 5th grade. I ran cross country in I think also 5th grade. So I've done, you know, a couple things here and there, but nothing stuck in the same way.
Yeah. So mainly just golf.
Mainly golf. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think, Kathryn, that's probably a big part of why you're at where you're at and why you've done so well in all these events. Talk us through Minnesota PGA junior stuff, and now you're playing in more national events. When did you kind of push it with your parents of, hey, I want to play some more competitive things, or that just naturally happened?
I think it just naturally happened. You know, like I'd always played in like the Minnesota Junior PGA like championship. Like that was always a thing that I did during the summers. And then as I started getting better, I don't remember, I think it was 2021 the first time that I actually qualified for the national championship. But it was just kind of something that happened. That was never really my like goal in playing in the Minnesota section. That was just kind of what happened. And I obviously those tournaments have offered some really great experience throughout my junior career.
Kathryn, follow up to that is at what moment, and I ask this a lot, and it might be hard for you to recall, but do the best you can. Do you recall a moment where it just clicked with you where you're like, oh, I have a chance to be good? Or
I do actually.
perfect.
I do. I remember this was my 7th grade year. It was like the week before the state tournament, which I ended up winning that year. It was 2018. And I had just had a lesson with Luke, and I was kind of struggling, but then I was hitting on the range after that, and um I think he had just shown me something in my swing or something like that, and I just visually I just saw something and kind of thought about whatever it was, and I just started hitting well, and my dad said, this is good, and I think I realized that there could be some consistency, some good consistency there.
Awesome.
So obviously you win the state open, but let's backtrack. You win the state am.
Mm-hmm.
You and your brother pretty much have all the trophies in your house right now. Big ones in Minnesota golf. High school state championship. You finished second to Reese.
Mm-hmm.
You had won, I think, the year before. So
Yes.
I mean, you're playing a lot of big events, and how do you stick with it? Because you're not always going to win every single event. So
Right.
how do you, some of those events where you come close, and you've qualified for the junior AM and the junior PGA, and you haven't had your best, and you haven't whatnot. So how do you use those as motivation throughout the summer? Because it's a long summer, as Greg knows.
Yeah. No, it does. There's a lot of tournaments, and there's a lot of grit that's required just to kind of keep up the motivation and just the dedication and practice to think like, you're always just preparing for the next event. But I think the main thing is no matter what happens, I mean, obviously with a disappointment like state or a success like the state am, I think that there's always something to learn. And I think that reflecting on just kind of everything that's happened in previous events and taking the lessons, and I always try to leave the scores behind and just take the lessons with me, because I think that that's really the only way that you're going to get over some of the bad things that have happened and really move on with the game. So I really have tried to just take what I can from whatever I've done and use that to my advantage in whatever way I can in the future. And I know that, through obviously like national tournaments are tough, and the competition is tough. It's an intense atmosphere. And so I think even though that's unfamiliar at first, it's very, very good to be exposed to that, because those types of things, whether you play well or play badly, it teaches you something that you can learn and you can use in whatever you do in the future.
Potentially wise beyond your years there, Kathryn.
It's good advice
students,
from me.
Yeah, Scotty needs that. He also needs a
Yes,
razor, but again, he's maybe trying some stuff. Okay, Kathryn, let's move forward to Women's State Open. How many of you played it?
This might be my 4th. I think it's my 4th.
All right, and
Yeah.
your first win? I'm sorry I didn't go back and look, but is this your first? This
Second.
your second win?
Second, yes.
What
First was
was
in
the other one?
2020.
2020. Where did you win that one at?
The Jewel down Lake City.
Yes, the Jewel.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about your rounds a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. I love some insight here. We love to talk about it. So your first 9 holes, I look back, you did start on hole number 1. I thought, well, maybe she started on 10, which we'll get to that. But no, you start on 1, I think both rounds. And you birdie 2, and then you bogey 4. Did your ball roll back down the hill on number 4 up on that par 5?
No, I pulled my layup into like kind of the longer. I mean, obviously there's a lot of long grass. Stonebridge is more of a links style course, and so I kind of pulled it into the long grass, and I hit it over the green just a little bit. I could still putt, but I hit it over the green just because I wanted to avoid that really deep bunker in the front. And then
or rolling back down the hill.
that too. There are consequences there for sure. And from there, I three-putted from the fringe.
Okay, so you have a meh front nine.
Exactly.
You're probably feeling okay, right? Even golf. I know you're decade golf because you're a Luke Benoit protege, so I understand all that. You're probably, hey, pars are okay here.
Yes.
And then what happens on the back nine? Talk us. I mean, I don't see your first pars on 17. Talk me through that.
Yeah, that was the only par, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was very chaotic. It was just kind of back and forth. Like it was all putting too, you know, like I mean, I would get to above the hole and I would three putt. I would be, you know, a little bit below the hole and I would make the putt, like whatever it was. It was just a combination of three putts and one putts.
Wow. So ball striking was fine the entire back nine.
Yeah.
Scotty, that's the decade golf, right? Kind of like we're
Well,
hitting it on the greens and we got to be able, because Caleb was telling us this about leg putting, right?
it's all leg putting. Yeah.
And then making some, so your speed was off, is what you're saying, or you just, were they in position?
I would say it was a combination of speed being a little bit off, but also I think I was just missing it in the wrong spots. Because I mean, on Stone Ridge, it's a very interesting course in that the greens are huge and there's so much, you know, undulation that realistically the greens are really small because you're supposed to, you know, put it within a certain distance from the hole in order to
quadrant. Yeah.
right.
So Kathryn, so you shoot 74. Yes. I'm guessing you went home that night, slept in your own bed. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking actually a lot about the first time I won the tournament, which was 2020. What was I, 15? And I think I was I think 3 shots back, 2 or 3 shots back. So I was kind of just under the kind of thinking like anything could happen at that point. Because especially in like a 2-day tournament, you're only halfway through at that point. So it's really just all about the second day, I think.
Scotty, I've taken a lot of questions in a row. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Buddy.
No. Yeah. So going into day 2, quick question: course conditions. I mean, Stone Ridge can get the greens as fast as any golf course around. How fast were the greens?
The greens were very firm, but I wouldn't say that they were like as fast as they could have been.
Okay. So yeah, so you're obviously few shots back. You're not in the final group, so you're kind of out there putting the bar set, leader in the clubhouse. You start birdie, eagle, par, birdie. You're 4 under through 4 holes.
Yes.
Just like walk out of the gates like I'm going to take the lead after 4 holes. So what happens on walk me through that stretch of 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. So 1 is a shorter par 4. So I hit 3-wood off the tee both days. It was, you know, a fine layup, and then I hit an A wedge to 4 or 5 feet on that first hole, which was a good start. Make the putt. That was good. And then the next hole, just driver and nice 3-wood layup, and then I had about 55 yards. And the pin was kind of tucked like right over the front left bunker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of hit a high like spinning pitch, and it ended up going in, which is how the eagle happened.
That is
there we go.
Right.
That's Kathryn, that pin is bogey every time for me. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where I lay it up. Doesn't matter where I hit it. Bogey. You make.
Well, I was worried because I was like, I looked at it and I looked at like where the pin was, and I was concerned. I was concerned because I was like, I should have laid up farther right. But it ended up all right.
So make a par on 3.
Yep. Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah.
And then birdie on 4. Just lay up.
Yeah, just a nice, I don't know, 6-iron layup or whatever it was, and then a wedge to like a foot or something like that.
So there we go. So now, okay, 2 questions, Greg, then I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah.
So when you start like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you're 4 under through 4,
Mm-hmm.
does your mindset then change? Or I gotta imagine you've had plenty of rounds where you keep it going and you can go really low. But so 2 questions. Does your mindset change? And I think I know the answer, but do you look at the scoreboard then to say, hey, I'm 4 under through 4. Where am I at? Do I need to keep pressing, or can I just kind of play smart golf?
So no, I did not look at the leaderboard.
Okay.
I I wasn't in the final group, right? So I
Yeah.
wasn't like really aware of like what everybody else was doing, anybody else who was in contention, whatever it was. I just didn't know. And I didn't want to know because I didn't want my mindset to change. I was kind of just just kind of trying to keep the pedal down and
Yep.
continue doing what I was doing, because at that point it was just kind of 4 holes in, you still got a lot of golf to play. And so I didn't want to get ahead of myself or, start making decisions that I wouldn't normally, just because of the first 4 holes.
Yep.
So Kathryn, so you bogey 6, birdie 10. Did you hit the barn on number 11?
I did not.
And you made a double. Talk us through
I
that.
still made a double.
No barn.
No barn. Still made a double. I guess there are different ways to screw up that hole, but I hit it was a fine drive, and then I laid up with like an iron or whatever, and I had just a 60-degree wedge, and something about it, I was not comfortable over that shot. I was not committed to it at all, and I should have backed off it, but I didn't. And so I hit it, and I like pretty much bladed it over the green into that like there's like a hill that goes up behind the green. And I mean, that's just dead because there's also a false front to that green, and whatever. So then from there I hit it back over the green to like 35 or whatever yards out, pitched and 2-putted. So that was the 7.
Moment of honesty here now. You blade the one up into the stands. What do you slap your leg? Do you get mad at yourself? Do you just shake it off? Be honest now, Kathryn. How did that
it's
go?
a mix of all of them. I think
Little
I
cuss
just
word?
walked away. No, not really.
Good.
Maybe in my mind. Not out. Yes, that's how you do it. But no, I just kind of walk. I mean, I was going to use the same club, so I just kind of took my club and walked back up.
Are you carrying your own bag at this point, by the way, or
No, my mom caddied for me the whole time.
Okay. Oh, so
Yeah.
you have to keep it kind of relatively PG and not get too angry, right?
Right. Yeah, ideally.
That's it. Okay, so you par and then bounce back eagle. Talk us through
Another hole out?
the drivable par 4.
Another hole out. Yes.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's a drivable par 4, but I didn't go for the green. I went kind of over like the second bunker from the left on that dog leg. That's just kind of what I did the whole time, because the fairway is pretty wide there. So I was, again, like 50-ish yards away.
Your playing partners probably wanted to just shoot you.
I would imagine. Yeah.
I mean, right, Scotty? If I'm playing with somebody and they hole out twice in a round, there's a 9-iron going to go helicoptering across the way. And if it catches them in the neck, I mean, you know how frustrating that is, right?
I hope that the next time I hole out twice in a round, I'm playing with you, Greg.
Now, when you did it at the Dakota Chapter Championship, I was in no way, shape, or form in a good position, so it didn't bother me. Scotty,
yeah, you were going to quit golf.
But Kathryn, I mean, I'm guessing you're kind of chuckling to yourself, right? Like, this isn't possible. I just hold out again.
I mean, the first one was kind of surreal, but 2, it's like, that's just unheard of.
Unheard of. Okay.
So then you par 14, you go birdie bogey to finish. At any one point in that stretch, did you look at the scoreboard?
No.
Okay.
No,
not once.
Not once.
Because you have it on your phone, right? Or was your mom entering the scores?
No, my Nikki Reineke in my group was entering the score. So I mean, if I had looked, I could have just, checked my phone for it, but I didn't want to.
That's discipline, Kathryn. Good for you. Scotty tells me this all the time. I find it fun to look and see, all right, who's playing well, especially if I'm not playing good, which is a lot. I'll look and I'll say, well, who's beating this thing up? How is he 6 under out here? This is
Yeah.
like brutally tough. So
Yeah.
I have caught myself at other times going, hey, I'm playing well. I'm wondering if other people think it's easy out here today. And so I've caught myself doing that. So I want to applaud you. That's great discipline to not do that. You had no idea when you finished where you stood, or
No.
I mean, before that, or until you finished?
I really had no idea. No, I mean, I was thinking I was hopefully close to the lead on like 18T. I know that we waited for a minute there, and I just kind of had no idea, and I wasn't really thinking about it. And then I think I hit it left on my second shot, my approach shot to 18, and then I pitched up, and I think I heard my coach Katie Hahnemann say like, "Yep, that'll work," or something like that. And then I had kind of a good idea that it was gonna be okay.
Because Betsy was the leader after day one, correct?
Camille
No.
Kuznick was the leader, right?
Okay.
At 1 under.
Yep.
Oh, she did. So somebody was 1 under. Okay. So you had
Yes.
no idea that she was imploding.
No. None.
Scotty, I'm just overly impressed with these young kids that have figured this stuff out, and it's taken well, again, I still haven't figured it out. I'm 48 years old, so it's pretty cool to hear these stories, and I love going back and doing these rounds. I think it's cool to hear the mindset, kind of what went through, what's going through your head. Anything big left the rest of the summer, or is it college golf starting next week?
College golf will be next. I have off until I move in the 29th, and then our first tournament is the 5th and 6th up in North Dakota.
Okay. Scotty, you got to ask your same question you asked Caleb. Come on, ask it.
She probably already knows what it is, but no, I mean, awesome. It's just very insightful. Obviously, you two are very well coached. I think Greg should book a lesson very soon. But no, both you and your brother are just wise. It's fun to talk to you both about rounds. Two-part question.
Yeah.
You got to tell us your biggest weakness and Caleb's biggest weakness on the golf course, which I mean, there might not be one. Let's be honest. Look at the scores lately. But I'm going to ask, because Caleb gave us some wishy-washy, maybe. Who wins? You guys lace them up. You go out to Stone Ridge. We're playing a match play match for Dairy Queen Blizzards. Who's going to win between you two?
That's a good question. Well, I will start by saying that my weakness is definitely it's like overthinking it. Like I really have been working lately on just simplifying, and Luke's been working with me on this too, but like just simplifying the golf swing. Not so many like swing thoughts, just commit to the shot, focus on the target, and maybe think about one thing in the swing. But I feel like I've always kind of been like the type of player that will just think about so many things, and then if a swing thought doesn't work, then I tend to lose confidence. And so I think that that's definitely been one of my biggest weaknesses, and one that I think I've gotten better at over the years, and definitely this summer. But what's Caleb's biggest weakness? Probably just the fact that he cares so much.
Oh, interesting.
I think
that's actually a real thing.
Oh yeah, and he works so hard. He has so much talent, and he pushes himself more than anybody else in the world, pushes him. And so I think that obviously it's taken him to some pretty great places, but I think that sometimes he can be hard on himself. But
Kathryn, are you still not answering? Oh, 10 matches. You guys played
10
10
matches.
times. You two. You from your tees, he from his tees.
Okay, different tees.
Yeah, no, from the proper tees.
Yeah,
right?
proper
You're playing
allocation.
the 85% of what he's playing basically is kind of where we land.
I would probably say him, just because I think that he would get in my head.
Whoa, little head games.
The old mental warfare from the older brother.
Seriously. Yeah. I can just see that happening. You know what I mean?
Yep. Good call. Kathryn, we want to thank you for coming on today. We want to say
thanks for having me.
to you and your career, and proud of you that you're staying home, girl. That's a tough call, because there's other places where you can play golf year round. And I'm sure that tempted you to go off to Florida Gulf Coast or wherever, whoever else was after you, because I bet your list was long. So we want to thank you from the Minnesota section for staying home. That's huge for us. Yes. And I know growing the game with the ladies is, I've always said there's one boom left in golf. We've exhausted all of them, but there's one left, and that's women. And I don't know exactly how to get there, but people like you can help with that, whether you know it or not. And I just personally want to thank you for all you've done for ladies golf, and that you compete and you care, and that you're staying home. So, Scotty, any last words for Kathryn?
No, that was awesome, Greg. I can't agree anymore. And just good luck this year at college. Have fun with golf, but have fun at school as well. And we'll be cheering you on.
Well,
you didn't take it, Kathryn. You didn't take any post-secondary under that, did you?
Well, I took like AP classes.
Okay.
But no, like I'll be there for 4 years. Yeah.
Thank you. Stay in school. Enjoy it.
I'll do my best.
Fun. That's awesome. All right. That's Kathryn VanArragon. Thank you so much for coming on, and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right, Kaylee, let's bring you back on here for some state of the section. While Kaylee's getting ready, Scotty, I'm blown away by these kids, how they talk and how they think in their golf games. And oh my goodness, I wish I could have had that mental approach to golf. I had the, I'm going to hit it hard so that I can get up and down on a par 5. That was what I always used to kind of think. That was my growing up years. But these kids, they just think the game differently now than I used to.
It's unbelievable. Like, I was looking back, I think she won 3 state high school tournaments. She's won the state open twice. She's won the state AM twice. She's qualified for the junior AM, the junior PGA. Like, it's unbelievable. She's 18 years old. She's playing, I mean, she's got a very bright future. And as you mentioned, she's just wise beyond her years. And you said it about Caleb too. They're just great kids. I met their parents out at the 3M walking with Caleb. It was, they're just great people. You can tell that they had great role models growing up. So
thanks, buddy. All right, Kaylee, stay to the section.
Yeah, well, we're in the championship swing. We have the senior pro champ coming up next week at Highland National. And then the week after that, a couple weeks after that, we head up to the Wilderness for the pro champ. And then also just the assistants champ will be in September up at Northland Country Club. So we're ready to see who's going to qualify.
The Northern chapter. As you know, Scotty, we play in the Northern Chapter Open, but the Northern are taking over this year. Great golf courses. Scotty, give me your rundown of all that. You got any favorites to win them all besides yourself?
Where, at Wilderness?
Well, start with Highland.
Highland, I can honestly say I've never played Highland.
I played there last year.
Okay.
Give me a redesign. Yeah.
Okay. I think obviously it's tough to go against Don Barry right now, Kaylee's favorite player. I must be second, Greg maybe a close third, but anyways, Don is He's 60 years old and he's really committed to distance and he's working hard at it. I mean, he's shot some just great scores this year. He seems like he's playing great. Stendhal's playing solid. Eric Childs is going to be in the mix. We got to look again. There might be some interesting 50-year-olds that are now in. Greg, what are you, like 1 year away, 2 years?
I can't play this year. I can't play next year. And then hello world.
Do we need to do a press conference for when
I sign
turn
my big
50?
Deal, when I sign my big deal with what are those things that old people wear when they can't control their bodily functions?
Colostomy bags?
Is it Depends?
Colostomy bag.
I'm gonna sign with Depends.
Okay. Here, another one that I missed, Chris Borgen, but here is a name that you're not going to believe is in the 50 plus. You ready for it?
Eric Toffner.
No, he's been in there for a while.
Who's the newest?
Brian Pabst, who's at Eagle Lake. Chris Peterson.
Lucy?
Yes. Chris Peterson.
Lucy.
Lance West, who's at Medina. So those are 3 new names on there. You and I are going to have to talk about another name that's on there off the show.
Woo. All right. So I wrote down Stendhal over here. He's my pick. Nothing against Don Barry, but I'm picking Stendhal. All right. Section championship, Wilderness. We can't do a preview this year, people. Sorry, can't do it. We had a lot of fun last year. Sorry, it's just not going to happen.
It's a 4-hour. Greg, what is it for you?
5:20.
Oh my gosh!
And I got club championship here at Eagle Creek Golf Club on Saturday, Sunday. I'm not asking for a specific tee time. Wherever he puts me, and I'll figure out how to get there.
So we have kind of given a Wilderness preview throughout the years. If people remember, this is the spot where Greg Snow thought he was going to quit golf. He shoots, what'd you shoot?
96.
96.
Something like that. 93, 90, something like that.
Last section championship at Wilderness at Fortune Bay, 2010.
2010.
I shoot, I think, 69 in the first round. So Greg flipped me.
Oh my God.
It might be the biggest differential between him and I in scores in our career in the same event. But Wilderness, I think it's going to be great. It's been a long time coming. Last year supposed to be there, but this year it's going to be there. I love it up there, right off of Lake Vermilion. The air's just a little bit fresher. It's a lot like Brainerd Golf. There's trees everywhere, so you got to keep it in play. You got to hit it straight. No smothers, brothers. Let's keep those smothers out of there. And the green complexes, there's some complexity to them. There's a couple of split fairways with the railroad ties. So I think it's going to be a really good test. I think a lot of our best players are going to come to the top because you can't have any misses out there. The last time, surprisingly, it was Jeff Sorensen and Don Barry in a playoff for the title, and Jeff won. Might have been his first one that he won. I'm not positive on that, but Jeff won it. So same characters are in the mix. So it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how many spots we have. It's 5 hours and 20 minutes. Hopefully we can get a lot of participation up there.
Yeah, when's that sign up deadline, Scotty? You know these things.
Yeah, they've moved it back a little bit. The deadline is Monday the 21st, so we got 10 days.
Haley, when are you going up? You going up Saturday?
Yeah, Tone and I are going up Saturday for a little bit of setup.
Little bit.
Well, we can't
Big
do
ballpark. Big ball.
Yeah, for the course. I'm talking about like our signage. I don't think we
Yeah.
can get in the ground up there, but yes, Tone will be out there setting up everything else.
All right, and then Northland or the Assistant Championship, Northland Country Club, great venue for them to get for their title. I never got to play there, Scotty, when I was an assistant.
Yep.
I'm trying to get my assistant who just got enrolled into the PGA last week. He's going to play at Hazeltine, the assistant event coming up on Monday. And then I'm trying to get him to go play up at Northland and get kind of involved in this. But is Tim Brovold still an 8?
Yes.
He's my pick.
Tim Brovold's your pick.
Yeah, I think he needs it. Remember that year he won both, Scott?
I do. I think it might be the only and last one. For sure he's the last one that's done it. I don't know who else has done it. I'm gonna pick a northern guy right now. I don't know if everybody's signed up, but Andrew Israelson's gonna be tough to beat.
Ooh, he is gonna be hard. Trey Fessler's gonna be hard too.
Yes.
Ooh.
Although I did play with Trey, and I'm not sure that he's gonna be able to play.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kaylee, anything else? State of the section.
Yeah, well, just a quick shout out to the Craigens crew. We just had junior match play up there. It was super fun to be back at Craigens. We got to see the new, Dutch 18 that we were on. We were up there for 3 days. We had a huge weather delay. Got to hang out with Club Pro Chatter's biggest fan, Kelly Johnson. So thanks again, Kelly, for listening. She was happy to hear that I'm back on picks. So
yes,
we didn't do well. We're still here.
But you're back on the picks.
Yeah.
There's next year. We got next year.
Yeah, but thanks to that whole crew, there's a lot going on up there. So it was fun to see everything that's happening and kind of the buzz as CRMC is getting closer. But also a huge shout out to our junior players of the year. We just announced these 2 individuals. So for the ladies, Avery Bartles out of Oxbow was our female player of the year. She has won a couple different events. The Players Tour that was up north in the Fargo area, she won match play and then also won the Players Tour Tournament of Champs. So congratulations to her. And then our male player of the year, his name is Jacob Wilson out of Forest Lake. He also has won a couple different Players Tour events and then won the playoff hole to place 3rd at the Players Tour Tournament of Champs. And now both of them have secured their spot for Cup Team, which is a really big deal in the junior golf space. So congrats to both of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Scott, anything to add on the players?
No, I mean, hats off to Carla and her team. The end's in sight. It's been an unbelievable, I think, more junior events than ever. So it's a long year, but it's just great to see, as we've had 2 graduates of the program on the last 2 years. Look what any of those kids can do. They go through our program and they're winning state opens and state AMs and playing Division I golf. So success stories like that and just great kids. So awesome to hear, and congrats to the players of the year and everybody that's won out there. It's a big deal, even if you win an event.
Yeah,
So
big deal. That's right, Scotty. All right, Kaylee, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty, I had some more things, but we're out of time, so we're gonna say
I got something quick.
Real quick. We're out of time. Let's go.
I gotta commend you, my good friend. I was dogging you hard with Edinburgh coming up on the last episode, and lo and behold, I get up there and Greg Snow makes a nice little check at Edinburgh, even though he limped in, probably looking at the leaderboard like he shouldn't have been doing. So Greg Snow nips me by 1 at Edinburgh, and then we won't talk about the rock star for him, although we had a good time hanging out up there. And then beats me at my home course, Faribault. Very proud of him there. So Gregory, You're playing good. I think, do we need to say that it's because of Decade? Do we got to
Well-
give Scott Fawcett a little credit here?
Remember, we had Caleb just before Edinburgh.
Yep.
And I have to admit, I told myself it was par 74 for me. And it kind of kept me in the mindset of a bogey's okay. I got something to play with. It's par 74. And again, other people. And so I was, with the speed of those greens that day, we were told they were a 14, right? And so things like that kind of just it made me think I'm a die putter. So again,
Yeah.
I don't mind slow greens. I don't mind fast greens. I don't care one way or the other. But when I knew that, then it's like, okay, just cozy and pars are going to be great. Lo and behold, pars were great.
Yeah.
And you're right. I pulled a 7-iron on the par 3, the 8th hole, which was my third to last. Hole 9, I hit a 5-wood over the green into Deadville. 3-putted that green, and then the next hole 10, 3-putted that green. So limping in was exactly right, Scotty. The 76 should have been a lot better, but in my mind, it was a 2 over par that day, which, as you mentioned, it was good considering the last time I played there was 98 or 96.
90 something.
Yeah. So it was a big turnaround, but all right, we got to go, Scotty. That's all the time we got for. We got some stuff happening here, but we want to thank everybody for listening. We hope you can go back and listen to maybe even the other one with Caleb, the last episode. That would be episode 4. Get the brother and sister take. They were in the same room. We found out when we interviewed them, and cool family, cool story. So for Scott McDonald, for Kaylee Ekstrom, I'm Greg Snow. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day.